Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C., all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Super excited about what has been happening, what has been going on. We are still on fire, just helping build leaders globally here. I want to first start out by shouting out our partners, our sponsors. We have the Connected Leaders Academy. We have Root Financial Services. We have Breathe Capital Planning. And we also have AMA, the Author Millionaire Academy. Super excited for them to continue the support with BALM Global and what we're doing. So, guys, I know it's just about 4 to 5 months away where January 2024 will be here. And we want to make sure that you are up to date with all of our tour dates and what we are doing with Empower to Inspire. So stay connected. You can reach us at www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com. It's a one-stop shop when it comes to these podcasts, when it comes to our partners, our sponsors, what we're doing, our mission, everything that we are doing to just make a change in this world. So super excited to come back here with an amazing guest. Met him through the Connected Leaders Academy, had a virtual coffee, connected instantly. And I was on a show last month, so it's super exciting to have the shoe on the other foot now. So we'll talk about that. But he is none other than Sifu Rafael. Mr. Rafael Gomez is the founder of 5 unique shows, which are done live. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor of Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Sifu Rafael's purpose is to unite like-minded individuals to create new possibilities and impact the world we live in. Sifu Rafael believes that we can all change the world. Most importantly, we need to start with ourselves and then we can help others. Love that, love that, love that. That is the language that we all speak, and it is so true. So let's get our friend out here. Hello, how are you?
Thank you so much, Nikki, for having me. I really appreciate you. And it was a blast when you were on my show. Thank you.
Yes. So just quick question. Thank you so much for having me as well. But how does it feel being a podcaster, being a podcast guest? Do you like one over the other? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things about being a guest is what winds up happening is you wind up talking more about you or your beliefs or your concepts or your programs. And the difference is when you're a guest, that really helps you put yourself out there. So now, as a host, it's not about you. The way I see it, it's not about me, it's about my guests. So for me, it's to help them get their message out, to empower them, to share them with my audiences. So for me, it's always about connecting with someone new. And it's I love it.
I love it. I echo that 100%. Being a guest is great, but just being a host and being able to tap into people's lives and be a part of their journey, or even listen to, what they've been through, is just empowering, encouraging. And if we're looking to change the world, then we need to have more guests, right? That are
Mhm.
in action with changing the world. And it's so crazy because I just read your bio, but I actually just said that like in the introduction of what BALM Global does. So to know that it's like just confirmation that we are with the right people. So I'm just
Mhm.
glad to have you in my community. So tell us who Saifu Raphael is. How did you get that name, by the way?
But I'm just going to make one tiny correction. It's Sifu. Sifu means teacher in
Sifu.
Chinese. That's okay. So Sifu means teacher in Chinese. So a lot of people I've been doing Chinese, well, martial arts for about 48 years. And it's difficult because I'm only like 25. So go figure.
I love it.
So what wound up happening is when I was 10 years old, my friend was going to go and he was leaving, our group, we were all having fun playing outside and he's going somewhere. And I'm like, I like this kid. So I want to go with him. He's like, well, I'm going home. I said, can I come? So his dad was a master in actual karate. And he's like, what is he doing here? He wanted to come. Okay, let's train him too. So I tried, that's where my journey really started. And for me, I went as far as training in the basement of a church. If you know Lou Gossett Jr., it was a guy who looked identical to Lou Gossett Jr. And the training was intense. We used to leave puddles on the floor. And this was in the basement of a church near my home. And then I created a Kung Fu club in my own home. And I used to have all from high school, I used to have all different kids with different styles. We used to come into my home. My dad allowed me to move. We used to have a huge house. We used to move the furniture and just train. And we used to fight and all this great stuff. And so the passion has always been there. I've always trained. And Sifu means, well, you've been doing it for a long time. So I got that, the opportunity to open up a school for someone else in 1992. And then in 95, I said, it's my turn. So that's when I opened up my first school. And, most businesses close within the first year, some even earlier. So since 95, I've had a martial arts school, but I've not only had a martial arts school, I've done other businesses. I do drawings, I do woodworking, I'm a coach, I do all sorts, because for me, it's always what's next? What's next? How can I level up? Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. But before we get to what's next, right, we're going to talk about, and I know just in the conversation with you, I know your journey started really, really young.
Mm.
So I kind of want you to go into that. Like, how was your upbringing and that first job? At what age did you have it? And what was the mindset of you even going for it at your age? So
Mm.
share that.
Well, I'm going to be candid, and I was abused as a child. Both my mom and my dad, they did not understand how to, I guess, raise a kid. I'm number 10 of 12. So I'm sure they had their hands full. And it was a struggle every time when I needed something. My sneakers would have holes in it. I would have to put cardboard in order to have not have my feet get cut up on the bottoms of my feet, on my soles. And then I would beg and beg and beg. And my dad can easily get me sneakers. He just said no, kept saying no. So at the age of 10, a friend of mine, his brother was working at a bingo hall. And I said, well, I need money. So I said, can I get a job? I was tall. So at 10 years old, he got me a job working at a bingo hall. This is back, wow, so many years ago. And I was making $100 a week way back. And I never had to ask. And that's when I got that job, I never asked my parents for anything because I understood that if I had to ask, for example, the ice cream truck was coming. Back in the day, I don't know, it was like 20, 25 cents for a cone, right? And I ran home and I said, Dad, can I get a cone? My dad looks around, he goes, the house needs to be swept. You got to clean the windows. I'm like, by the time I do all that, I said, I'll come back and do it after I get my ice cream. And he goes, no, you do that first. So I said, okay. That was my lesson. I said, I'm never asking my dad for a penny. And once I got my job, I never did. I never looked back.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. And I didn't hear that part of the story, right? So this is
Mm,
why I love doing this because when you ask questions, you kind of again go deeper and there's more being shared. So you learn
mm,
more. So I just enjoy this process. So with that being said, now you're at the bingo hall, you have a job, you're making $100 a week. What is going on there with them not knowing your age and what else do you get into and how does the journey begin?
Well, one of the things I realized is that in order for me to keep my job, I couldn't act like a 10-year-old. The inspiration was my friend's brother. The reason is when we used to hang out, we all used to go to the deli, and if if anybody bought something, we'd all share it, right? We all like, you know, figure out a way to make a couple of bucks here and there, or a couple of cents, if you will. And this guy would buy a nice, huge hero, a soda, cookies, chips, and just eat it. And he didn't share with us because he was older than us. But we'd all like kind of hang out in the same area. And I was like, I want to be like that. So, how do I get what he has? And it wasn't envy, it was I wanted to be more. So, for me, I understood that if I had this job, I needed to keep it and I needed to not act like a 10-year-old, to complain. None of those things could happen because nobody cared. And I realized that. So when I started working, I would work fast, hard, and say, like I said before, what's next? What else do you need? What else do you need? So one of the fun parts of working at this place, it was a bingo hall. And it was a huge bingo hall. And it had two levels. On the first level was just tables and tables and tables, and it was so big it would take him 3 hours to clean one area. It would take me 3 hours to clean the other area. So between both of us, we cleaned. That's how much cleaning we had to do. We mopped, we did everything. They had a concession stand with a grill, sodas, and all that. And they said one of the caveats of working here is you can make yourself a sandwich. You can make yourself a grilled cheese hero. I mean, a grilled cheese sandwich. You can have a soda. So I started making grilled cheeses because I saw him do it. And I was like, okay, good. So one time, because I was always there, I was always on time, and I always said, when I finished, I didn't leave. I hung around if they needed, because the bosses would actually hang out at the bingo hall in another area and they would play cards. And so I would always go to them, I'm done. What else can I do? What else do you need? So it was always about serving. And that has been my caveat, my whole way of being my whole life. How can I help? How can I serve you? And with that one day, they saw that, hey, they said, can you make me a grilled cheese? I saw you having one. Sure. I made them. They're like, wow, these are good. How do you make them? I said, well, like this. They're like, whoa, keep doing them like that. Great. And then one day, the person that's working behind the concession stand did not come in. And I was there. And they said, can you work the concession stand? Don't forget, I'm only 10. I'm not even 11 yet. I'm almost 11. And I did. And then the old people that were coming because they were playing bingo, they're like, what kind of soda you want? Pepsi, Coke, Sprite, whatever. And then they said, well, what do you prefer? And I said, well, I make Tutti Frutti. They're like, what's that? I said, you want to be surprised? Yeah. I said, so I made it. And they're like, whoa, that's it. From now on, I'm having Tutti Frutti. And everybody kept going, Rafael makes Tutti Frutti. Ask him for one. And then I started not only working, cleaning the bingo hall, but slowly I got an additional job of working during when they were playing the game. Back in the day, I guess child labor laws were not as prevalent as they are today. But I had two jobs now, and I was making tips. I was making good money. And one of the things is I always saved my money. And then, of course, I went along with my friend. Now I can buy my own hero. I can buy my own soda. I can buy my own potato chips. But I did not just buy them for me. I bought them anytime we hung out and I gave to my friends because I did not feel comfortable with my friends just looking at me, wanting what I had. So I've always been, I share. So I've been a giver. So that's how my mentality went from wanting to needing to having. I wanted the ice cream cone. I wanted sneakers to saying, I can provide for myself. I don't need anyone. And at that early age, to have that mentality, that's what has propelled me to become an entrepreneur.
I love that story. Every time I hear it, more detailed now than ever.
Mm,
Um, but I love that you said one thing, which was a very vital key point in our growth, right? As entrepreneurs and seeing others really have what we desire to have. And sometimes there can be a little envy, unfortunately, right? It
Mm.
exists. Sometimes it's just in our own selves, in our own sabotage. And as a coach, I would love to kind of know exactly how do you help someone kind of break that mindset where they're coming up with, like, oh, I just see everybody else growing and things like that. How do you handle that topic with your clients?
Well, you can't grow if you're watching. You can only grow by doing, right? So one of the things that when I take on any new client, I want to know about their day. I don't want to know how much money they want to make. I don't want to know anything. I want to know about their day. What are they doing? How are they doing it? How are they treating people? Because it shows me the kind of person you are. And I don't take everybody on a long term. I take you on a 1 month basis. That's it. And then I decide, are you a good fit? Am I a good fit? Because for me, in order for me to impact my knowledge to you, you have to be coachable. If you already know everything I'm telling you, then there's no reason for you to hire me. There's no reason for me to be there. We can be friends, that's about it. But for me to coach you and every time I tell you to do something, you're like, "Oh, I've already done that." But have you? The real reason is how did you do it? What did you do? And who did you involve? Because a lot of times people they want to see that they look at somebody who's doing really well and they think that they did it by themselves. No, they had a team, they had people they counted on. You can do so much by yourself. One of the things one of my businesses, when somebody comes to try to book with me, I'm like, I'm just here. But you have to go talk to Melanie. She'll book you. Oh, what do you mean? I said, I don't book myself because she has my schedule. She knows when I'm available. I'm here from this time to that time. She'll make it work. That's it. But if I didn't have her to do that, then I would have to like go crazy, figure this out. She's on my team. So, and then I have other people who, if I need to travel, they're going to cover my businesses and certain facilities that they know what has to be done because I've not only taught them, but then they also know how to do it. And when I'm gone, the money train should not stop coming into the station, right? If you will, right? Because all of a sudden there's no trains coming in, and that's your money train. So you need that. So for me, when I'm trying to help somebody look at someone else who is doing well, we need to investigate you. What is it about you? Why is their their success so important to you? Because you can't live off their success. They're not giving it to you. They
Right.
built it on their own. So how can we build yours? What steps do we need to take? What actions? I always say my actions today will lead my tomorrows. If I want to be successful tomorrow, I need to do my due diligence today, right? Unless you win the lotto,
Simple
it's
as
not going to
that.
come.
Well, I put some into that mega million that is right now. It's like 1.5 billion.
Right.
It's just crazy. And yeah, so I have we'll see. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Um, but the point of that is you actually have to pay to play, right?
Mm,
You have to still do the work. It's still about you. And what I say to that is that life is not a competition. There's so much for everyone, and you are your own golden diamond. Like it just Like you have to really believe and sit in that belief that
Mm,
you have something special to offer, that you're just as worthy as that person that you are looking at. And probably the only difference is the action.
mm,
Probably the only difference is the mindset. So when we get clear on each of those areas that's causing us to feel that way, we then can step back and say, hey, you know what? It's my time. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to just get that belief in my heart that I can do it, and I'm gonna connect with the right people that's gonna get me there. Because again, and you talked about team, you cannot do this. Nikki could not have done it with
mm,
any of the sponsors that you see below, because they have been part of my life since a part of my journey since day one last year, right? And there was a relationship built in that process. And that's really what we need to start doing. We really need to start serving and just showing people the way. They're gonna have
mm,
to figure it out themselves, right? You can point them, and then they're gonna take that journey. So thank you so much for bringing all of that up. Absolutely
mm.
amazing. We're gonna take a quick break here from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Rafael.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here with uh
Sifu?
Sifu Rafael. I can't believe I just want to say it how it looks, right?
Yes.
Sifu Rafael. And he has been just dropping some gems and diamonds about how it's never too early to start your journey. That's how I feel your story moves me. Because sometimes we grow up with different adversities, different things that we go through, whether we have a really great tight knit family or we don't, or we've been raised, with the gangs and the drugs, or we've been raised with two parents of privilege. I mean, we have an array of upbringings, right, throughout all of our communities. And each and every story is so powerful. That's why um, it's so easy if you really tap into your story and what you've been through to get here. Um, your success can be catapulted like no other, because everyone has a purpose. What do you think about that statement?
I do. I do. I think we all have that purpose. I'm going to make it simple for you. Think of seafood. Just take out the D,
Gotcha.
right? So we all have a purpose. And you did say one thing, that it doesn't matter how early or how young you are, but I also want to add that it doesn't matter how old you are. And for me, age is a number, because the thing that I hear a lot of people say in their early 40s, I'm old. You're already counting your days left in this world. You already put a nail. The minute you say I'm old, you put a nail in your coffin, because it means that you already have set your trajectory to a certain degree. Meanwhile, if you don't think of age, if you don't think of it as a number, but as an experience, what more can I experience? That's why I always say, what's next? How can I help you? How can I help your experience? I just last night I booked tickets to I'm going to go do a speaking engagement in Florida, then I'm going to go to California, right from Florida right to California, and then back to New York. But the whole important thing about us is, how can we know what our purpose is? I know so many people in their 40s, 50s, 60s who still don't know what their purpose is. And that is a shame, because we should look at what we enjoy in life. If sitting at home watching Netflix is what makes you super happy, you need a little bit more, just a tiny bit more. You need to see and figure out, am I good at speaking? Am I good at writing? Am I good at telling people, or not telling people what to do, but directing people to do certain things? Am I good at leadership? Am I good at motivation? Am I good at my job? Maybe I'm so good at management that I need to learn to manage more. I need to level up at my workplace. Maybe I work a 9 to 5, but maybe I have to start looking at leaders and see what they do. One of the things that I've heard 1,000 times over is that success leaves breadcrumbs, right? It leaves marks. You need to start looking. You need to read. I read every day. Sometimes people are like, how do you read what you're reading? Because I was talking to a gentleman, a client of mine, and I told him I was reading 3 books at the time. He goes, "You're reading 3 books?" He goes, "I read one." He goes, "I read one once a week." I said, for the whole week, every week he reads 1 book. So he reads 52 books a year. I said, "Well, I read 3." I said, "But I don't read them fully. I read a portion of it. And here's what I do. I take and I write notes onto what I'm reading. So I have a book. This is one of the books I'm reading now, which I'm going to have this guy on my show in the near future on August 16th. But for me, it's always about reading different books. I'm reading this book, right? I'm reading and reading and reading, but I don't read to say I read the book. I read the book to understand the message. And the reason I write when I write is when I read, because a thought will pop into my head. And if I don't write it down, it's going to be fleeting, right? That's why they call them fleeting thoughts. I don't want mine to fleet. So, for example, it's called brain dumping. So I get it in my head, I got to put it on paper, because 3 months from now, am I going to remember when I've had new information coming in? You know how many messages we get every single day? I mean, thousands upon thousands of messages every day, every minute sometimes. So can I hold that in? Yes, we all have that memory. We can all recollect. But why struggle with it when you can put it down in paper? And that's how I've written like 90 books. I haven't published them, but if you look at my diaries, there's so many different ideas, concepts. And the other thing for me is, when we look at other people, and you asked about, it's not about jealousy. It's not about I have to do what they're doing, but more is, why are they doing what they're doing? What's their purpose? So maybe, do I align with their purpose? So I don't have to do exactly what they're doing, but can I align with it? Does it call to me? And you cannot really be inspired if you're sitting at home eating chips, watching Netflix, unless you're watching, a show that's going to teach you how to do something. That's the difference, right? Most shows are just there for entertainment value. And I've been reading in the book that I'm reading now, most of Hollywood puts business down. If you look, what do they show first? They show the high tower, and then what happens? Who's sitting in the high tower? the lone person who's a bad guy, a billionaire who's a bad person. So they're portraying negativity in movies about business, about enterprise, about making money. When making money it's in the Bible. We need to help ourselves so that we can help others. The more money I make, the more people I can help, the more people I can employ, the more people I can serve. If I buy a product, I'm not buying it and it's only affecting me. It affects everyone who either made it, shipped it, put their hands on it, put it on a shelf, the stock boy, the cashier. It affects every single person. So does my buying help other people? Yes. So making money is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring another great point, because we all want to make money, but do we want to spend, or let's not say spend, let's say invest in ourselves, right? Whether it's through coaching, whether it's through these masterminds, events, community memberships, things like that, where they add a ton of value, because I am actually a testament that it all works, right? We are a testament that, with community, success is at the end of the road, and it'll continue to be, right? So it's all how we view money too, right? And if I think, and I just learned a few years back, that when I actually go to purchase a product, I literally say, bless who receives this, and it would come back tenfold, right? And it's so true, because even when we are not satisfied with the level of finances that we're getting, things are still being covered, right? Things are still being brought back to you. It still becomes available, and it's an ongoing recycling, right? But it's, how do we really do what we're supposed to do when we get it, right? And if we're getting it to serve, and that's what you said, right? The more you make, the more you can serve and help and employ. And that's really what it's all about. And that's why I believe that we are all connected and we can all win in this journey. So thank you so much for everything that we talked about. But what do you have going on right now? What is next? Because you've been saying that a lot, and I want to know what's next.
Well, for example, I didn't raise my own prices. My staff raised my prices. That is huge, because I don't talk money with my clients always. I will say, if you want my services, go talk to this one. They will sign you up. They will set you up. And when I was listening, I was like, oh, I charge that much? I was like, wow. And then I said, when did this go up? Oh, we just did it recently. I'm like, oh, great. And I said, why? And they said, well, because we see your value. We see where you're going. We see that you are limited. And if people want to have you access to you, they need to pay. Because we not only see the value you bring them, but the value that they're getting from what you give them, because you give them way more. You're actually cheap, even though you cost a lot. You're actually cheap for what you charge. So they said, we feel like this is better. I'm like, thank you. So what's next? I can't really talk too much about what's happening next, because I'm partnering up with someone, and we are bringing an experience that is going to be totally unique. It's going to start in New York, but it's going to go kind of global. And we are in the first stages. We've had several meetings, and I am just super thrilled. We already got our website. We're starting to do all the different things. So for me, it's just another business opportunity. So for me, I talk about SEO, right? SEO, everybody thinks it's search engine optimization, but I see SEO as search every opportunity. So an opportunity presented itself because I met a person and I said, you and I can do something great together. And they're like, well, tell me more. And then we started talking. And then they saw it and I saw it. And even in that conversation, what we were going to do changed. It totally changed because of the conversation we had. And right there on the spot, we said, wow, look at this. It went full circle to this particular subject. This is what we need to do. And that's what we're doing. So it's going to be exciting. It's something that's coming. It's going to be super, super fun. And I got to be honest with you, the more people that we get involved, the more that we will enrich their lives, because we already have programs ready for them. We have all these different things, but we're not taking the blanket off like they do in the new cars, right? We're not taking that off yet, but soon.
That sounds exciting. I'm super ecstatic to even know what it is. So I can't wait to hear more. It's just so awesome that it just takes one conversation with one person, that you truly go in it with no expectation. Just let's have a conversation. Let the room do its work. Let the universe, let, our higher beings, whatever we believe in, do its job. The only job that we have is to keep the conversations going, is to connect with other people outside of our immediate circles. It's about getting uncomfortable to ask someone, hey, how's your day going? What is it that you do? This is what I love to do. And then just keep that conversation going, because magic happens.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with people that you don't know, which is pretty crazy to some, because they won't even take that chance, even going into like masterminds and these events where they just collect business cards. They'll go to tables, but they won't get uncomfortable and just say, hey, how is your day going? How have you been soaking up this event? And that leads to, it has happened. It has led to so much more opportunities for me that. And the first event I went to, I was like, I'm not even worthy to be here. I don't even think I deserve to be here. Like, I don't even know why I'm here, except that I just wanted to speak and enter the speaking competition. And this was my time, and I did it. And best decision I ever made. 1 year later, we have a podcast, we have books, we have anthologies, we have communities. And it's only because you say yes to you. You say yes to you. But I love what you said. Search every opportunity. Seek every opportunity. We can change that so many. That S word,
absolutely.
So
SEO
ways that I just absolutely love it. Thank you so much for your time. You have been absolutely amazing. I can't wait till we collaborate on something. I know we touched a little on it before. I'm still interested in keeping that conversation going with you, my friends. But tell us how people could get a hold of you. Where can they find you? I know you have a podcast. Share all of your information, and I will bring out your email right at the bottom there. So let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely my coaching call PC at Gmail is probably the easiest way. If you want to have a conversation, shoot me a quick email saying, hey, I'm interested in what you have, and I'll shoot you my Calendly link, and then we can have a conversation, have a quick coffee. For me, one of the things that you did say is worth more. A lot of people don't realize their worth. Why? Because as children, a lot of times people are told, be quiet. You're not to be heard. Children, and I hate this one, but children are to be seen, not heard. And that is so wrong, because children can teach us so much. And when we encourage a child to express themselves, we allow them to become more. And for me, it's always inspiring anyone that's in front of me to become more, to do more. You're worth more. You don't value yourself if you don't see that person in the mirror every morning and say, man, I love you. You're beautiful. You are unique. There's no one like you. And then, you probably have these. I know so many people have them. We all have affirmations. It's one of the things that we talk about is money. And one of the affirmations that I say to myself every day is that I'm a money magnet. And every time, one of the things, I belonged to something and I got charged double. And I immediately reached out and they said, oh, that was a glitch. I'm sorry it happened. We're going to take care of it. And they did. But they said, wow, you really are on top of it. I said, one of the things I was taught early on is to know about my money. So every day I'm looking at my account, and every day there's money the money trains come in every single day. And for me, I thank God. And I say, God, thank you for this money that's coming in. And then I go, I attract money. I am a money magnet. I'll say it out loud. I'll say it in my head. Anytime I get a new contract, a new anything, a new client, I thank God, because that is how we keep attracting that which we want. We have to be grateful. So every day, my morning starts with gratitude and ends with gratitude. So if you want to reach out, coaching call, pc@gmail.com. Come, let's have a conversation. And if there's anything I can do to help, it'd be my pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sifu Rafael. I got it right. I'm so excited. But you said something very, very quickly, and I definitely wanted to touch on that. And that was, well, there was a few things actually. The main one was, let your children tell you what they want, tell you what they desire, and support their journey. I know sometimes as parents, we already have a vision for them based on observation, based on what we see. And, they might have a hobby that may not be something that they want to do. Just start listening, start having those conversations with them. You can start as young, as early as they start talking, right? Once they can start telling you how they feel, let them do that. And I love that you pointed that out, because that has been a message that I have had with my son. He's 18 now. He's about to be his own entrepreneur. Well, he already started his entrepreneurial journey. He said, Mom, I want no parts of college. I want to go straight into my craft. I've been doing it. And he's about to write his first co-authorship with me. It's just amazing. Like, he's working with his teachers that are going to be doing voiceovers on his animation that he's creating. Wow. Coming soon. And I have just supported his journey every single bit. And a lot of people would tell me, like, why do you let him be on his video games so much? Now, if you knew the type of video games he played, he's actually creating. He's a game creator. So it's like, why not? He's in his element. Let him. And he has, just been amazing. So please, please, please nurture your children. So great message. Thank you so much, Sifu. It's been absolutely amazing. Can't wait till we connect again. Again, you can email him. That is the quickest and fastest way to get a response. And trust me, he will respond. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast, where we bring you guests that are doing amazing things, that are in this movement to change the world one person at a time. So as I always say, have a great day and make it count.
God bless.
Thanks.